Full disclosure, news and commentary number 41, 41, 41, 41, 41. Woo! I hope you're doing well. I got a lot of stuff to do. That's why I'm getting this done right now. What is our commentary about? Commentary portion is about giving credit where it's due. It's something I would like to see a lot more of in 2020 from everybody, including myself. Lots of great stuff today. First, let's talk about the Patreon subscribers. Yes, I picked up yet another one, which is amazing. And then I have something to say about my Patreon. I added something, so I want to mention that too. But thanks to Brett and Brian and Dan and Derek and Diana and Eric and Hold My Beer Hansen and Jeffrey and Josh and Larry, not that one, the other one, Logan, Malone, Rob Rod, Proc, who's new. Of course, Robert, dang, there's just lots of people. Jonathan and Southern Honor and Double Drop Kick Show and the OG Myron. What can I say? I've added an incentive, if you will, an award for people at the $25 level and up, of which I currently have 3. Because the way I see it, since I'm going to pay for the Goodman Awards, the actual statues that winners are going to get starting at next year's Georgia Wrestling History Awards, since I'm going to have to pay for them bitches, anybody who donates at the 25 level and up will get credit anytime I mention anything about the Georgia Wrestling History Awards. Imagine how many fucking mentions that's going to be in videos and in print and in interviews that I'm going to do. I get asked to do a lot of interviews, and I've been sort of loath to do them. The only one I did in 2019 was Huck's show, and I'm going to change that. I'm going to interview a lot more. I get asked a lot, and I usually sort of hem and haw, and I don't want to do it because I feel like, man, I got enough to do with my own stuff. But fuck it. I've been doing great, and I want to take on even more. Here's a weird bit of news before I jump into the shows. So Peach State Pandemonium, which was a long-standing show on Georgia Wrestling History podcast. Bobby Simmons hosted it. Different guys have participated in it over the years, including Les Thatcher. By the way, I have news about Les Thatcher to go over. I need to write that down. Okay. See, man, more and more stuff. These things get longer and longer because there's just so much to talk about, and that's really fucking wonderful. But Peach State Pandemonium's ending. Now, they haven't had a show in quite some time. And apparently, word on the curb is that Bobby Simmons, who's a guy that I like a lot, I used to go to his gatherings of old school Georgia wrestling people when I first got to Georgia. And that's how I met Ted Allen and tried to buy a ring, and that's a whole nother story for another time. But apparently Bobby Simmons wants to do it, but the other people who kind of did it with him don't want to do it anymore. And what I offered, so I'm putting it out publicly, so if it's something that you would like to see happen, contact the appropriate people, is I think Peach State Pandemonium's important. It's about the old school of wrestling, especially in the state of Georgia. And I think it serves a very valuable purpose, and it's a very different kind of voice. So I offered to co-host with Bobby Simmons, where I would be more the sitting under the learning tree guy, and Bobby and I would talk old school Georgia wrestling, me as the person who was attempting to learn and doing research about what the topics we're going to discuss, and Bobby Simmons offering his insight, and both of us getting old school wrestling people on the show. So I put that offer out there. I hope he takes me up on it. Even if we only did a show once a month, I would like to do it. I'm obviously jumping into shit more and more and more and doing more and more and more. And in fact, I'm announcing a new fucking video series that I'm going to start. I'm going to kind of do a test run during this full disclosure, and then I'm going to do the first official one of this new series that I'm calling, loosely calling Knee Jerking the Curtain, which are going to be my reaction videos. I'm going to do a reaction to something that popped up recently. A reaction meaning I've never officially watched it, so I'm going to watch it for the first time as I'm showing you. And that's going to be a series. My first official one is going to be in the next couple of days because I saw that Jeff G. Bailey dropped part 3 of his written series, The Underage Chronicles. So I'm avoiding reading it, and so I'm going to read it live in a video and react to it in real time. Yay. Shit. But for the $25 Patreon people, if you donate at the 25 level, the 50 level, and the $100 level, you're helping me buy those Goodman Awards. And so I'm going to give you full credit. Every time I talk about them, every time I write about them, every time I'm on an interview discussing the Goodman Awards and the Georgia Wrestling History Awards from here on in, you will get credit. And that's going to be a lot of mentions. But if you just want to do it just to help me and to help those awards physically get bought, which is something people have kind of wanted for years, but nobody ever kind of put in action, but I'm putting it in action. In fact, I'm meeting with the trophy person tomorrow. I'm meeting with 2 different ones. I'm going to see who can kind of give me what I want the most, the best quality trophies for a reasonable price. Yeah, Real Men Vacuum. Remember this shirt fucking from last year? It's back. But we have an unboxing. I've got a ton of stuff. I got word from the P.O. box that there's at least 3 things waiting for me in there. I need to catch up on this shit. I let my kid, Veronica, pick which one to open out of sort of the plain Jane package or the exciting one. Guess which one she picked? Yes. 1 hour tees, pro wrestling tees. Let's see what this is. Pro wrestling tees with they got the sticker. Pro wrestling tees with the chair. Bam, bam. That reminds me, I got Patreon videos to do, and it just gave me an idea of the Patreon video to do today. And I'm going to do one tomorrow, and I'm going to try to do one on Wednesday. Whole lot of videos. Who sent this to me? Oh, I know who motherfucking sent this. Oh, excited, excited, excited. Let's open it up. Dude, Myron and Nick. Hooking it up. The Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network. Wearing this thing with pride. Yes, yes, yes. Tapped Out. I'm a little backlogged with them. I need to. I'm going to listen to it tomorrow while I'm doing my plyometrics. It'll help me get through that stuff. I want to hear what their take on the awards were. Speaking of which, that'll help me knock out one of my news items. For those that did not know, QT Marshall won Mentor of the Year. What, you want to come over here? You want to look at this? Tapped Out. This is my friends Myron and Nick. Yay. Okay. You're the one. I just completed a reading already, and I have a cup. Yeah, she just completed a lot of her homework. She does. It's a great cup. Look at this cup. Look at the anatomy. The anatomy of the cup. That's exciting. Anyway, so I'm looking forward to watching their take on the awards. By the way, the Mentor of the Year was not me. It was QT Marshall, who's done a great job. And I saw another news item that he's taking wrestling bookings. So I'm curious to see who's going to hire QT to be on their shows. Obviously, he's done great work with AEW. Sort of a national wrestling news item that I thought was worth noting. And it's going to send me into my first rant. Ding! So Tessa Blanchard became the world champion for Impact, right? Defeating Sami Callihan. And boy, boy, the reaction from a lot of male wrestling fans publicly, fucking pathetic. You can have the opinion that you think it's a negative, but the kind of vitriol from the same people who probably would be more than okay with Joey Ryan's dick suplex, but they talk about believability and they talk about how it just doesn't make sense. And now is this, well, my favorite was the guy who opened up, great. Now does this open it up for other women to contend for the world title? Yeah. Pro wrestling's moving in a completely different direction. And Impact is, they have to be a guerrilla fighter at this stage in the game. There's a number of promotions in Georgia that don't seem to understand that they have to be guerrilla fighters as well. Meaning they can't fight a conventional war. They don't have the resources, they don't have the fan base. So they should be fighting any way they can. And Impact is attempting to get attention. And this was certainly a great way to do it. When's the last time anybody fucking talked about Impact Wrestling, really? They haven't. They haven't. And what happens when people stop talking about you? You become Ring of Honor. That was fucking cold as fuck, Steve. So, Ring of Honor drew 650, but no doubt papered a lot of that. Larry's report, which was phenomenally done, as always, also showed up on PWI Insider, as his reports often do. NWA, I'm looking at you. Right? Action Wrestling, who they were hoping to get 400 with the fundraiser, but then they had to move the venue because of tornado warnings or bad weather warnings, and so they still drew 250. So is that their fan base? Is that their new fan base? 250? Because that's without the fundraiser at the school where it was intended. And if it is 250, well, you'll just have to wait for the P list. Let's go into that news item real quick. My P list coming out in the next day or two is going to be the top 10 wrestling groups in Georgia ranked. I've avoided doing it because I knew it was going to be a fucking powder keg, but fuck it. This is the year of boom, boom, pow. So we're going to start off hot. Top 10 wrestling groups in Georgia ranked. Oh, fuck me. And no, I don't know what it is yet. I'm going to look at a bunch of different things. So that's going to be something. AWF. Logan Frazier wrote more than one report this week, and he covered AWF, which normally doesn't get coverage like this. Crowd 77. Here's something Logan Frazier does that I like. It's just like when Rob Rod was kind of really cutting his teeth and writing these reports. At first, I didn't like them, and then he kept refining his style. Logan Frazier, right off the bat, does something that I like a lot. He grades the non-wrestling segments. So if there's a talking bit, like there's a bit with Paul Lee, he fucking grades those too. And he critiques those like he would a match. I like it. I like it. Who else? Renegade Championship Wrestling with a crowd of 53. They're still plugging along. APW, 91. APW, rumors were floating around that they were going to sell, that Jeremy Vane was going to sell it, but apparently that fell through, according to a number of people who told me. What do I think about that? I think it's too bad. I think it's too bad it didn't sell. I think they could use a different vision and a different voice. Not to say that Jeremy Vane doesn't do an incredibly credible job and hasn't done a great job, but I think fresh blood would do them good in more ways than one, including the talent that they have on the show. Live Wire 75. Anarchy post Big Show 167. 167. Is that the biggest crowd they've had post Big Show in years? Since the Jerry Palmer era, certainly. And I'm not so sure the Jerry Palmer era, if they drew 167 the show after a Big Show. Somebody else could look that up. Please do. But it's certainly the biggest post Big Show crowd that they've had in a long time. And in case you missed the memo, the weather's been shit in Georgia. How's it been in Florida? Amazing. Oh, that reminds me of another Patreon thing I need to talk about. It has to do with the shit show investigation series I was going to do. That I can't do it on the show that I was intending to do it on. And join the Patreon to find out why. It's a fucking ridiculous, crazy story. All right. Anarchy. Spine Buster with the 203. Those motherfuckers come right out in the fucking year, and they begin at where they ended off last year, drawing 200 in Valdosta, right on the border of Georgia and Florida. They're way the fuck away. By the way, there's guys that are asking me to talk about them. I'm going to do them one better, and they're a podcast that sort of represents South Georgia. This is the year where it feels like South Georgia wants to be represented. I'm all about that shit. So I'm going to do a fucking another video I gotta do. A Be Kind review on that particular podcast that covers South Georgia. Oh, I got a lot of videos to do, but you know I love doing them. You know I love doing them. Southern Honor. 3 reports. Rob Rod's, Larry's, and fucking Logan Frazier. That's one thing. They drew 475 to 500 upwards of it. Right? All that, incredible. I gotta eat this, sorry. Southern Honor managed to top the incredibly impressive Southern Fried crowd. And their crowd was crazy hot. And their crowd was, I thought of another Patreon video idea. I have to write them down. It's the people who are bitter after the awards. We'll talk about that shit at length. And their show, right now, of course it's early in the year, but which one was this? It was a 16? Southern Honor 16, so far, is show of the year for 2020. That's how I'm going to think about it this year, because I think show of the year, last year was an exception because Southern Honor 1000 was such a spectacle that it stuck in people's minds. But I think I need to keep people abreast of what the show of the year currently is. And right now it's Southern Honor 16, Joe and Huck. Speaking of Joe and Huck, I certainly read in those reports about the match. I certainly saw pictures of that match. But right now, I'm going to watch what I presume is the last 4 minutes of the match. I'm going to put it up. Sorry, I'm not tech savvy enough to have it in the corner or some shit like that. I'm getting there. It's one of my goals for 2020. But I've got it here on my handy dandy little wannabe iPad. Special thanks to Spencer Cantor, who took this video. And if he took it with his phone, it fucking looks great. Technology, y'all. Technology. Anyway, I'm going to react to this motherfucking thing as it's happening. So I see right off the jump, Huck is climbing his big ass onto a car that looks like they've already beat the fuck out of the thing. And Joe apparently is on the hood. From what I heard, about 400 people went outside to watch this as it was happening, and about 100 people stayed inside. So think about this. More people went outside in the cold to watch this match than have attended a Georgia wrestling show in months. More people went outside to watch this match, and more people stayed inside and watched it on the screen. By the way, congratulations to the production value of Southern Honor. #1 with a bullet by far in the entire Southeast. More people watch that than most minor shows get, period. And more people went outside in the cold to watch this fight than have attended any Georgia wrestling show in months. Impressed yet? But let's see how this came across. Are y'all serious? Damn, Huck. The fact that they had this all set up is incredibly impressive to me, right? They're beating the fuck out of each other on this car. Apparently this car was set and ready to go. Lights. The picture that Rob Rod showed of all the people standing out, the picture that Rob Rod showed of the crowd watching, which looked as big as any crowd in Georgia, just watching this outdoor fight is unbelievable. Oh, here comes Huck, climbing his ass on the car, going over the back, climbing on the top, got the tattered jean shorts look. I think that's a good look. Grabbing Joe. Look at how he gestures big so everybody can see what he's doing. Pick and Joe, obviously they've already beat the shit out of each other incredibly. The blood, too. Oh, Huck. Boom. Every move matters. Now they're hitting forearms. They're not moving very quick, but they've certainly earned this. This feels very dangerous in a way that I haven't experienced in Georgia wrestling. Oh, what a great punch. Woo, Joe throws a great punch. Now they're both next to each other. Just, oh, the slap. You hear that motherfucking slap? Joe trying to, Huck is slapping him. Huck don't care. Oh, but Joe didn't like that. Now he's firing up. Forearm shots. Huck's beginning to crumple. Oh my god, what are they going to do for the finish of this shit? I try to avoid reading about what the actual finish was because I want to be surprised. Oh, is he digging into his scalp with something? Oh, man. The crowd hushes. The feeling that you get watching this is the same one the crowd has, which is like, what the fuck is going to happen? They're scared. Joe clubbing away. Oh, Larry's calling me. Huck just said this is it. He's got Joe hurt. Nope, Joe blocks him. Traps his arm. Traps his other arm. Joe's headbutting away. Just slamming into him. That hair looks great flying around. What's he doing? He's got him hurt. He's hooking him up in a front chancery. Oh no. What's he gonna do? How's he gonna suplex him onto the motherfucking car? There's no way. He picked him up. Oh my god, he twisted him. He kind of falconed arrowed. You heard that. Someone in the crowd yells, oh, the windshield's cracked. The referee's going nuts. Joe. Oh my. Look at all the phones filming this. Look at the lights. Look at Joe getting his moment. He fucking falcon arrowed him onto the windshield. Please get a shot of that motherfucking windshield. I gotta see. There you go. Move your ass. Spencer, whoever the fuck is filming this. Joe's posing. You gotta get the moments. You gotta get those still pictures. They're important. Crowd is happy with that finish. Well, there's kind of a hush now. Wow, wow, wow. Man, that makes me want to find pictures to see what that windshield looked like. Did it get fucked up? I'm sure it did. Congratulations, Southern Honor. Congratulations to Joe and Huck. Um, what can I say? It's amazing. What can I say? It's amazing. 400 people to go outside to watch it with another 100 watching inside on the screen. And it all went off. Um, congratulations to Dylan and to Gary Lamb. Wow, wow, wow. In addition to these 5 billion motherfucking videos I'm going to make, the first tipping point after the awards is going to be next week, Tuesday. And our guests are going to be Les Thatcher and Jordan Oliver, the epitome of old school and the epitome of new school. Who would dare put those guys on a show together? Larry Goodman. Larry Goodman's making his bid for Booker of the Year, apparently. Oh my gosh. Shit. So all these people who want me to watch their matches and shit are bothering me. I'm doing full disclosure, motherfucker. I'm getting all your shit tonight. Don't worry about that. All right. Let's get to the commentary. Commentary is about credit where credit is due. Joe and Huck was a great event. It was a great match. It's a great build, right? Who deserves the credit for Joe and Huck? I think Dylan deserves the credit for helping set the stage to a bigger audience that this was a big deal. But Joe and Huck, I would gather, knew that this was the finish and the blow off that they wanted. So they deserve credit. But a number of other people wanted to take credit for it. And I'm hoping in 2020 people can keep it fucking real. But what that's going to take is for people to quit trying to latch on to things in order to try to get some kind of rub of credit off of it. Yeah. Anytime a wrestler makes it, people want to attach themselves to them. There's nothing wrong with sort of saying congratulations to so and so and so and so and such, right? But these promotions that not so subtly want to take credit for these wrestlers getting onto the next level, or even getting wrestlers bookings, but the wrestlers getting no money for it. So what the fuck are you taking credit for? Yeah. Recently, there's been a lot of talk where people just go like, well, you know, some promotions, they do a great job online of getting their name out there and they're making Georgia into a territory. That's not, why are we giving credit to that horse shit? It doesn't fucking matter. Your job is to be a viable promotion, first and foremost. You have no obligation to make a state wrestling bigger. You have no obligation to work with all of the other promotions. You know what state and area where all the promoters work together? It doesn't exist. And in fact, the more conflict you have between promotions, that's the sign of a strong area. Hear that. In Florida, do they fucking battle back and forth at various promotions? Yes. In North Carolina, do they battle back and forth? Yes. And they're all the better for it. And the weak ones die, and the strong ones get stronger. And occasionally people do work together, but it's to their mutual benefit. People want credit for being mentors, credit for being geniuses. These are words that I see thrown around all the time for wrestlers and bookers and everything else. They're the genius. They're the smartest. They're the best. Tell. Not showing. It was very telling with the awards. Who was gracious in being defeated? And who was not? Who was gracious in victory and dignified, and who was not? Very telling, very revealing. It's wonderful when people give credit. But lately, the end of 2019, we saw a lot of people in wrestling saying, it's all me. I'm not a Georgia person. I don't give credit to any of these promotions for giving me a platform. That's who you should give credit to. And you should be giving credit to your promotions that helped you get your start when you didn't know shit from Shinola. It's important. With that said, there are wrestling schools that don't get enough credit. And then there's wrestling schools and trainers who give themselves too much credit. Let's be real. There are some people that would make it regardless of where they trained just because of who they are. And we have a number of people in Georgia wrestling whose training was, if we're being real, incredibly substandard, who have had to learn other aspects of the job as they were working different shows, as they were in contact with people who could mentor them, or other wrestlers who could teach them, or people like me who give a fuck about people learning and getting better. During the Georgia Wrestling Awards, there were a number of people who were up for the Legend Award, and all of them, I would imagine, someday would win it. Iceberg, Ox, Robert Gibson, others, right? But the fact that people are still loath to give Larry credit, Jeff G was right. If you didn't vote for Larry, you're a fucking idiot. If not for Larry, nobody knows who any of you the fuck are outside of Georgia. And even within Georgia. And now that there's other people writing reports, Rob Rod, Logan Frazier, other people covering the scene, myself, Gunnar Miller to an extent, but the Tapped Out guys. And now there's other podcasts contacting me. Can Steve talk about me? Can Steve look at our stuff and then put it out there? Yeah, I'll be happy to. But I've already given up the notion that I'm going to get credit for shit. Because that's wrestling too. On one hand, yes, I want people to give credit where it's due. On one hand, yes, I want people to be realistic about the credit that they deserve and the credit that they fucking don't deserve. But at the same time, it's wrestling. And wrestling, like all performance, like almost everything else, is full of selfish ingrates. That's who performers are in their heart. These are people who become performers because they have a hole in themselves that need to be filled with the attention and adulation of others. And those people are never humble. But some of them are good at pretending that they are. And that's probably the best that I can hope for. Show a little motherfucking gratitude. But at the same time, here's the secret. It's easy once you know the secret. Oh, secrets of wrestling and revealed and secrets of magic revealed. I love it, love it. Here's a secret too. Arrogance. You got to have some of it in you. You got to have a little bit of arrogance. If you are a performer or you're someone who runs a show, or hell, you're somebody who even writes about the show, people are like, oh, Dave Meltzer has such a big ego. Yeah. Once you put your art out there in whatever shape or form it takes, it is already an arrogant act. Hear that and understand it. Oh, that's an oldie but a goodie. Let's bring it back. Hear me and understand this. Putting yourself out there as an artist is already an arrogant act. You are telling the public at large, my show is so great, if you're a promoter, that you should spend 2 or 3 hours of your time and your money to be at my thing. It's arrogant. It's audacious. Bookers are arrogant. My ideas are so good that all of you should put your bodies on the line for my thoughts. Arrogant. Wrestlers are arrogant too. They're maybe the worst of the bunch, right? Yeah, there's this long history and lineage, but if I'm being honest, I don't really give a fuck about that. I want me to be the most famous, the most popular. I think I'm secretly better than the guy next to me. But I won't say it out loud because that'll get me in trouble. But I think it, or else I wouldn't fucking be here. And that's good. But arrogance without any sense of gratitude, without any sense of giving credit where it is due. You're just an asshole. The older you get, the more you learn it's not just me. It's not just me. Nor should it be. You got involved in wrestling in whatever capacity you're involved, even as a fucking bullshit piece of shit fan, because you want to be part of something bigger than yourself, because it's when you are witnessing something that is truly awesome, inspires awe in front of you, that's when you feel. That's what you get out of it. If you're in wrestling as purely a business proposition, then you are a damn fool. If that's the only value you're getting out of pro wrestling is an attempt to make money, there's a lot better ways. But if you're making some money and also gaining something for yourself that you feel, then you're really doing it right. But don't think it's just fucking you, because you would be a damned fool. People nowadays are quick to give credit to fans. If not for the fans, we wouldn't be able to do. No shit. Now, I understand old school guys getting upset with this thing of after two guys have a match with each other and they go in public and they thank each other. That's so fucking dumb. It's not dumb in the sense that the instinct is noble, which is this person I put my physical trust into and they put it into me, and we delivered a performance that we found more than satisfactory, and audiences presumably liked it as well. We did a great job and we didn't fucking kill each other. It's great to have the instinct of wanting to give credit, but to do it publicly blunts the gesture. See, performers always think doing things publicly makes them grander and better, but it really is about cheapening the gesture of credit and gratitude. When I see promoters put out these long lists of, I really want to thank the people who, do this and run security and do this and do that and blah, 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 blah. The reason I hate that shit is because it comes across as incredibly insincere and just you showing this outward thing of, I'm the most grateful. If you look those people in the eye and said, thank you, genuinely fucking thank you, I see you, that's going to mean much more to them than making some sort of public display. Because once you make things public, this is one thing people on social media don't understand. Anything you put out there in public is not about how you really feel. It's about how you want to be perceived. And once you're more concerned about how things look than the gesture itself, you've cheapened the gesture. Do you agree? I don't give a fuck. There are people who have told me that they see my commentary as sort of homework. Fine. Here's your homework. It's going to take work on your part. Ooh. Make a list of the people that matter and who got you where you are and for whom they provided a foundation for you to succeed even more. And then thank those motherfuckers sincerely. And you will find a weight has been lifted from you that you didn't even know was there. And they will be inclined to not only help you more, which is sort of a selfish reason to do it, but they will know that their efforts were not in vain. And so perhaps they will be encouraged to continue to do good works. That is truly working together. Not just speaking these theoretical bullshit fucking things that are never going to happen, that I wish wrestlers would fucking stop. Clean up and regulate your own house first. Make a list of the people that you really should thank first. Do so. Show that gratitude. And then be somebody who others can be grateful for. If this terminology makes you feel better about it, I'll use it, even though I think there's parts of it that are incredibly hokey. But then so is fucking pro wrestling, is it not? Be somebody else's angel and acknowledge the angels in your life. I think it's a great way to start 2020, don't you? That's a rhetorical question. Fuck your answer. Thank you for watching. Full disclosure.